minutes of the 1 hour to come. This beautiful field. We kickstart Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia here at the iconic Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. And Krause, what a lineup of cars and stars in them. It's got a great feel about it in 24, doesn't it?
Rusty, record lap times in qualifying. New track surface or not, this is one of the deepest, most competitive, quickest Australian GT/GT World Challenge fields we've ever seen in this part of the world. It is spicy and there's a lot to play out over the next 60 minutes. So, compulsory pit stop midway through this race where drivers will change. They can put tyres on their car if they wish. I reckon they might be doing that. Maybe some working side tyres, right-hand side tyres at Phillip Island in this race. But if you haven't seen GT cars before, here's a little look. They use something called balance of performance to make all of the different makes and models competitive between them. There's such a broad, different group of vehicles eligible as well, but these are the dream cars. Mercedes AMG, Ferrari, Porsche, Audi, whole host of very cool things. Pro and AM drivers driving together. Compulsory pit stops for driver changes, and then the battle in the AM class is often just as competitive as the battle for the outright race win, and we'll bring you up to speed with that as we take a look at what is the corrected grid. So Liam Talbot, the AM drivers did the time in qualifying for race 1. Liam Talbot was quickest. He copped 5 grid positions for speeding in pit lane. As a result, he goes back to 5th place with Chaz Mostert. Elliott Shute will start his sister car for Arise Racing, the Ferrari, from pole position.
Paired with Jackson Evans, a bright young star who's looking forward to getting over to Tokyo next weekend for supercars. The combination beside them on the front row with Brad Schumacher and Will Brown off the back of that Larry Perkins Trophy win at the Grand Prix. We go right through the field here. Warden and Sheargold, they're worth keeping an eye on too, back on row 6. Nice to have Mark Senior part of things in that hallmark team MPC Audi. The Konduras brothers at the wheel of a Mercedes AMG. Josh Buchan, as the lights go out on the Hyundai safety car. I know TCR is your world, your focus for much of the weekend, but you do dabble in driving some of these cars during the week, don't you?
Geez, you guys are good. You covered it all, didn't you? I don't have anything left to add to that. That was incredible. Yeah, these cars are the coolest cars with roofs that you will drive. They're absolutely stunning. They're incredibly fast. The speeds they're reaching on TV does no justice for it. The speeds that we're seeing this weekend, record lap times across the board, but in these, a 25 bordering on a 24 is absolutely disgusting how fast that is. I cannot tell you from the driver's seat how fast that would feel. So amazing race we got coming up.
So young Elliott Shute from the West, who's graduated out of 2 years of Radical Cup racing, and that's it. That's his career. He finds himself on pole position in a brand new Ferrari 296 GT3 for Arise Racing GT, and his first start to kick off a brand new season in the Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. People all around the world are watching this. It's an exciting era for in Australia, and it's Shute versus Schumacher on the front row. We're away for 24. Ferrari on the inside, Audi on the out. Turbo V6, normally aspirated V10. The Ferrari's got the advantage down the inside, but Schumacher's got a lot of commitment as they run down into the southern loop. Peter Hackett for 888 Race Engineering in the AMG's in there. Paul Stokel, who qualified really well, looking racy, but it's on for the lead. Schumacher got a good run out of turn 2.
Dale ITM silver and black Audi. Keep an eye on that. Tim Miles knocking on the door of the top 10 at the moment. He'll partner with Brendan Leach in that car. The Racetalk.com drone cam. Authentic and contemporary race coverage for you. Check it out when you can. This is the view from on high as they come.
Oh, big moment at Siberia.
Yeah.
For Stokel. Got a little rub there in the middle of the corner. These things, even at 120k an hour, are making massive downforce, and a touch at that speed can send the car firing. So good job by Stokel there to hold on to it. You'll often find at the start of an AM race, technically, which is what we have, the AM driver, the bronze-rated guys and girls, you'll find that there's a little bit more room given traditionally, where the pros are happy to you know, make the gents' wallets a little bit lighter by rubbing panels. So a little bit of room given at the start here, which is good. But Shoot and Schumacher have checked out. Brad, we know, is obviously extremely seasoned in GT, and he's got a run down the straight here already, and he's not going to be afraid to throw his short partners Audi down the inside.
AM-class champion last year steps up to Pro-Am and drafted in Will Brown. Thank you very much to co-drive that car. And a big moment. Exit turn 1. How's the attitude on the number 87 R8? Just caught that thing at very, very high speeds. And it's rare you have a snap in one of these cars and catch them that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the Audi is traditionally known as quite a twitchy, sensitive car. It makes a lot of downforce, but just inherently, it's moving. It's very in your hands, and a moment like that is, yeah, that'll get your attention. He did a great job there, and probably showing his experience.
Sergio Perez for Valmont Racing leads the way in the AM class at the moment, with Tony Bates with the Makita AMG GT3 just in behind. This is going to be a fascinating battle too. The race within a race in GT World Challenge. There's Batesy, really fired up about being back. He's got Mark Rosser just in behind in the Pro-Am entry. Alex Peroni will jump aboard the ACM Finance car in the second half of the race, and Mike Bailey off the road in the Aston Martin, the V12. He's using all 12 cylinders to try and drive it off the wet turf.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, we're not sure what's caused that, looking at the aftermath here at the moment. The problem is, as you know, Josh, we've had a little bit of rain here in recent days, so it is damp offline in parts, and he's struggling to get drive or traction there at the moment. So safety car, we're being told, is on standby at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very difficult. There's lots of undulation in camber in most of the corners. Oh, mate. You've got 53 minutes to go, big fella. He's holding on to it like it's over next lap.
Can you just, I mean, give, as we have a look at the replay here, so turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, it looks like he's just bombed it in way too hard. And, you know, that runoff wasn't there as of about 18 months ago. So if that was prior to Phillip Island's life, he would have made it over to turn 2 pretty quickly. But, yeah, look, that could be even a matter of a little bit of aero wash, perhaps. But, yeah, certainly looked very fast into there. With that moment, but it's the last thing you want to do so early in the race is to have those moments and dent your confidence, because if the tyres are still coming up to temperature, we're only 8 minutes in, they're still getting up to pressure, they're not completely there yet, ride heights won't be perfect, so yeah, that's going to dent your confidence moving forward. He's certainly not slowing down by any stretch, but it's going to give Stokel, Hackett, Talbot, who is making ground up from that 5-place penalty, it's going to give them a look and motivate them more to push on and close those gaps.
Got a little glimpse again of our AM leader there a moment ago too, in Perez, who's 6th outright at the moment, doing a really good job. Batesy's dropped back to 8th at the moment in the Merc, and I think in recent weeks they've had David Reynolds at the wheel of that car. He gets on very well with Tony Bates, a little bit of time behind the wheel to help get up to speed with it, but Shoot leads the way from Schumacher by 1.5 seconds. And we've got a nice mixture of Aussies and even Kiwis in this field, and it's created a bit of interest too, I can tell you guys, on the other side of the ditch. So a big g'day to Andrew Waite, good friend of Shane Van Gisbergen's, who commentates the Super Sprint Motorsport New Zealand Championship over there, and he races GT cars over there. Love to get Wadey back on this side of the ditch and maybe a part of this at some stage. That'd be cool.
Very handy addition. And the Southlands Car Club, I'm told, are gathering in Invercargill to watch Brendan Leach and Tim Miles at Team South Island. They're calling it. Oh, I'm calling it anyway. So, yeah, a lot of people paying very much attention to that. Brendan has moved himself to Australia to race this year, which is outstanding. So, a couple of things just to put a full stop on. One, Mike Bailey's got the Ashton going again. So, we're not going to go safety car for that. He is back on the circuit and setting personal best sectors, having dropped the car off the road. The other story is Brenton Grove. Started at the back of the field for this one. He wasn't allowed to qualify in qualifying 2. He's up to 11th position now and setting purple sectors. Absolutely flying in the Grove Group AMG GT3. So Shoot leads Schumacher by 1.3 seconds now. Paul Stokel is in 3rd position. The OnlyFans Audi doing a really nice job. The race leader's Elliot Shoot. His co-driver is a Kiwi gun by the name of Jackson Evans, who's talking to camera.
Jackson, we're seeing Elliot do a good job out on track at the moment, mate. Conditions look just about perfect out there.
Yeah, look, he's doing a mega job at the moment. You know, first GT race for him, so yeah, a little baptism of fire, but he's you know, he's handling it really well, and you know, it's good to see him having some fun out front.
Now, in terms of the length of these races and the style of racing, particularly a track like Phillip Island, you breathing easy just yet, or who do you think is the main threat to Elliott before you jump in?
Yeah, look, it's hard to say. You know, temperatures and pressures are still coming up, so yeah, I feel like at the moment he's in the box seat. It's pretty difficult to overtake here, so you know, I feel like the Audis will probably come on strong. Even that Merc at the end, you know, it seems to be looking after its tires pretty well, so we'll see.
I'm going to jump in and ask you one more question, because I've heard Audi, Audi, Audi. Every time I come into this garage, it just seems to be the team. What is it you think the Audis have over the Ferrari when we've just been seeing Ferraris pretty much dominant so far?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's no doubting our car speed, but I think the Audis have a lot of track knowledge, and, you know, they've been dominant in the Australian GT scene for a while now, so I think that's just what we're used to seeing, and that's probably why we keep mentioning them.
Thanks, Jackson.
Cheers.
Young guy who's done some great things internationally in recent years with Porsche. Is back with Brad Jones Racing, competing in supercars in 2024. Nice addition, and very excited about heading to Topor in a week's time for supercars.
He's a very fast driver, former Porsche Carrera Cup Australia champion. Went and did some racing in Europe with, of all people, Patrick Dempsey, but also Michael Fassbender. So he moved with the old movers and shakers to Jackson, his time in Europe. He'll still do some more GT racing over there as well.
That's great. Coming off the Merc there. The Mercedes runs notoriously extremely low. Basically, the sump scrapes on the ground when they circulate, literally. So you could see Brendan Grove going round the outside of turn one, being quite nice with the room he gave Batesy through there. So very nice of him to do that, as we've got potential move up the inside. No, but yeah, that Grove Mercedes, he was super fast in quali. I mean, he did a great job in that car. He's not a full-time racing driver. He is a silver based off his age, effectively. So for him to be as quick as what he was, I was watching before I went out for my own qualifying thinking, damn, that's a very solid effort. He can be very proud of that.
Looks like Tim Miles closing in on Tony Bates in the background there for 10th place too. That car looks wild in the front end, doesn't it? So Brenton catches it. We should say g'day to Steve Grove too, and if you've just joined our coverage here on 7+, you would have heard Rich mention about the fact that Brenton had to start rear of grid. Now, the reason for that, he was sharing this car with his father. Stephen, we think, has got the flu and is perhaps back at the hotel watching on, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he'll be back here tomorrow. They did get permission for Brenton to start this race as a solo contestant, if you will, but that meant starting rear of grid, and there's an implication points-wise, but that doesn't matter. They're out there and running this car, which is great.
Yeah, he'll have a longer pit stop time too, Rusty, as part of that. So the compulsory pit stop, he'll have to spend 150 seconds in pit lane, which is transit time and stationary.
Cup of tea.
Yes, exactly. They'll get a flat white. This is the battle for the lead from the racetalk.com drone cam, and it is feisty. It's all concertinaed up. So Schumacher has come up to shoot. Stokel has got to the back of Schumacher, and Liam Talbot's caught them all, having passed Peter Hackett. So it's taken Liam a couple of laps to get comfortable in car number one in this race, Josh, but as it's evolved, the defending champion, that's why he's got number one on the door, has got better and better, and he's now putting the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, mate, if you're within a second of Chaz Mostert anywhere you go, let alone within 6/10s, 7/10s, you've got a handle on this driving thing. So Talbot's got no issues with his pace and his ability here. How good does this look, though? We've got 4 cars absolutely hauling out there, and they're all fighting for the lead. We haven't seen this in a long time in GT. We've seen little battles here and there, but a battle between this many cars going this fast. They're all doing 1:27 around the island. Again, only just 2 seconds off their qualifying time. This is incredible.
296 GT3. Nice to see it showcased on Australian shores. The cars have only arrived in the past month or so, I think, haven't they? Arise Racing in Western Australia, which, you know, have given Elliott Shute a great opportunity here to step up and to be a part of this program. They've got the likes of Adam DeBore in the background. They've made a big commitment to these cars. Orica Racing have been heavily involved in the development of these machines.
Won the Nürburgring 24 Hours last year, Rusty. Was the first big major success for the 296. And then in IMSA competition in the States, won the Rolex 24 at Daytona GTD class this year. So they're starting to find what this car likes, its sweet spot, and it's competitive everywhere. This has been an enormous investment from Arise Racing. Lawrence Escalante, who's the man behind Lance East Exotics, which is the LEE on the front of these cars. They've put a huge amount of investment into this team, and it's paying off so far. Paul Stokel paying off. The OnlyFans Audi going along well in third place. Let's jump back down to the lane.
It's been a few years since I've interviewed you, Renee Gracie, over the journey, and great to see you back racing and doing a great job. Paul Stokel in the top three. You must be pretty happy with where the car sits right now.
Yes, I'm very happy. I'm very grateful to have Paul as my co-driver this year, and I think it's going to be a very good year, knowing that he's definitely got the ability and I can learn from him.
Well, you gave yourself a bit of a toweling when I said to you before. You said, I won't keep it there. You've got to have confidence. You've been an outstanding young driver on the way through. Is it just getting yourself back into the seat and back in miles?
I think it's just not being as good as some of these top pro drivers that are in the field, current supercar drivers. Obviously, I am not one of those, but I think I can get there. It's just not right now. It'll take some time and development over the course of the year, but that's why I've got Paul. That's why I'm with the best team.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And while we're hearing from Renee, who won the trophy class in GT World Challenge last year, Stokel down the inside at turn one on Brad Schumacher. Really nice pass. And gets the OF Audi up to second place.
Yeah, he was teeing that up for a little bit of time. Brad was starting to make a few errors, and you can see the car's attitude is a little bit intensified in that Sean Partners Audi. So, yeah, Stokel made the move. Extremely experienced hand is Paul Stokel. And we're hearing that there's a little bit of drizzle out at Phillip Island. Who would have thought that Phillip Island is going to throw a weather curveball? But, yeah, Stokel making the move into P2 outright as we have the number 14, Ash Samadi, going wide. Bit of an issue there.
And fast running. He's just jumped out of the Radical. So doing double duties, finished third in the first Focus Radical Cup race, straight into the Audi R8 at MPC and straight back out. So he's battle ready, slightly different driving style required, but a lot of downforce in both cars. There is just a light little mist over the racetrack at the moment. It's nothing serious, but we'll tell you when it gets there. Schumacher's still under pressure. Now, Josh, the talk coming into the weekend was tyre life on this brand new surface, which is high wear, high degradation, quite high risk in some areas. Is this Brad running out of tyre as his stint goes on, or is this management? Where do you think that Audi is placed at the moment? Because he is losing lap time relative to those around him.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps they've gone a little bit higher in the pressure just to give the tyre a little bit of construction through his stint. I know that Pirelli have been not concerned, but aware of the loads that these cars are pushing through now with this resurface. So, yeah, you can add some pressure, take some camber out, which inherently affects the balance of the car. It might not quite be as nice as what it was in qualifying trim or whatnot, but ultimately it might pay dividends towards the end of the race. But yeah, Brad is obviously dropping back a little bit now. You know, but in saying that, he's still deep in the 27s. So he's obviously got that Ferrari in his rear vision mirror, which obviously is not a very nice sight to have when you see that with Liam Talbot behind the wheel. But Paul Stokel here has got the pace on. He's gone personal best lap, that previous lap. And if there is any rain, it's not slowing these guys down.
Speaking of 27s, it's a 27.13 for Brenton Grove, fastest lap of the race. He's up to position 8, some 9 spots up, as we see the 22 of Samadi come actually into the garage. So it wasn't clear when it went down the little escape road there at 4. Couldn't quite tell from the sound what was wrong with it, but game over it would seem for Ash Samadi. Back to our racetalk.com drone cam. They sweep through 3 and then hard under brakes for the right-hander down at turn 4. So Chute continues to lead the way, but the advantage, Stokel's chipped away here. It's down to half a second now. So brakes, we believe, is the issue for Ash Samadi, and to the point where it may have even completely run out of brakes. Not sure what has happened there. Clearly at a very fast part of the circuit, giving him a scare down on the run to 4, where you need good brakes.
Well, isn't that the last thing you want in a GT car? So for those of you not fully around these cars, they run ABS and traction control in the cars to effectively make them faster. You rely very, very heavily on the ABS. Basically, you push your foot into the brake pedal as hard as humanly possible, and the car pulls up better the harder you push it. So, yeah, You would think it takes some skill away from the driver. It does not. There is a technique to get the most out of it. And if you are having issues with the brakes, there's a significant amount of lap time taken away from you, particularly around Phillip Island, turn 4, Lukey Heights and MG.
He's got a pit lane. Here's Cam.
Shamadi Carroll, when they pulled the right rear tyre off, the brake pads fell out. So that's the issue on the right rear when they said no brakes. The fronts were fine. It was the right rear and the brake pads actually physically fell out as they took the wheel off.
Far from ideal.
Thank you, Cameron. Definitely. Eric Pender watching on down there at Melbourne Performance Centre. He's been a big part of that stable. They've got some great engineers down there. I saw Lee Stamation earlier this weekend helping do some data and some coaching as well that he does. This is a great battle for the lead. Just to put a little point on the pace Brenton Grove showing, Rusty, last time round 27.09. That is a new lap record for GT cars at this location. The previous lap record was set by Jack LeBrock in 2013 in a Mercedes AMG SLS with Erebus Motorsport. So, sorry, Jack, 11 years as a lap record holder at Phillip Island. It's all over for you now.
All gone.
How young was he then? He must have been.
Baby.
Exactly.
Oh, baby. I'd suggest that lap time will tumble as the pros get into these cars the second half of this race. We're approaching the compulsory pit stop. Just a reminder, Elliott Chute leads, but Jackson Evans will drive that car for the second half of this race. Yeah, he's looking racy.
What you can see Stokel doing is he's an experienced hand, done a lot of racing. He's showing the nose just in bits where you know your target is looking for you. So if you're constantly in a different spot, you're constantly harassing the rear end of the car, just moving out. Turn 4, he's been doing it the last few laps. He's just trying to get Elliott to think about things other than his brake marker, his apexes and whatnot. You can see he's probably, if he doesn't go for a move, he'll either be online or slightly off it, basically doing the opposite of what Elliott's doing in order just to give him things to think about, to get a run, as you see like this. A little bit of contact. Get the over and under here if you can. Ferrari's a little bit pinched. The Audi's much tighter off the corner. Going to get a better exit. What this does as well is tyre wear as well. The Ferrari's going to be using its tyres more than this Audi. And with 37 minutes to go, pretty ominous signs.
Hey, while you're on the explanation train there, can you jump in and let our viewers on 7 Plus and those watching globally, our Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia coverage, know what aero wash is like from a driver's perspective and how mindful you've got to be of that?
Yeah, I mean, aero wash basically is the wake of the car in front of you, taking away the air that would traditionally push your car into the ground. So down the straight, it's amazing. It's the best thing you can hope for, as you're going to see right here, right now. Now that Stokel's lining a move up around the outside of turn 1's going to be pretty tricky, but he's full of confidence. He's been all over the back of this car. He's pinched the entry floor and around he goes.
Big dive, big commitment from Paul Stokel, and he takes the race lead. That was mighty.
That was great. Even when he got beside him to pass him down the straight, he got to the left-hand side of the car and didn't move all the way over straight away. He stayed in the middle of the circuit to pinch the entry to turn 1 for the Ferrari, and at the last minute dives out, cuts across. That was class. Great move.
Schumacher either looking down the inside of Chute or covering off Liam Talbot. It was one or the other. He's in a Ferrari sandwich now, but now the OnlyFans Audi leads the race. 1994, 95, 96. Gold Star champion in Formula Holdens. I reckon he pulled that move a couple of times in the Barana Reynard 94D down there at turn 1.
Didn't he dip into that memory bank there? That was absolutely an open wheeler style move. Great piece of driving from Paul Stokel. Just while Rich was covering that off, Brenton Grove has been able to get to 6th place. He is up 11 spots in the Grove Racing Mercedes AMG. That's a mighty drive from the rear of the grid. Well done.
It's only 12 seconds off the race lead. Started last.
Oh, there we go. Got
Will Brown.
Will Brown ready to rip and tear. Renee waiting to get in the car.
Brendan Leach alongside there with the ITM signage on his helmet. So getting ready for his first start in GT World Challenge Australia.
So pit window as well is about to open up very, very shortly. So is it... Oh, no.
So this is Talbot having a look at Schumacher. Lights on, over and under, and gets it done. That was nice, wasn't it? And it kind of got set up coming through turn 1.
Yeah, it certainly did. You know, if you pinched on the entry to turn 2, you're going to push wide naturally, just the angle of the corner, and Liam was aware of it, done plenty of racing as Liam, and yeah, the gap was there, and suddenly the Ferrari was taking it. So back to my point, pit window, is it opening up at 35 minutes?
25 in, closes at 35, but according to the regulations, AM and trophy cars will pit from 25 minutes to 30, and then the pro cars will pit from 30 to 35 minutes. So they've only got a 5-minute window to come in. That's according to the regulations, of course. That's all written. We'll see what happens. They might all peel off into pit lane now, but that's what they said.
Potentially. There's always interpretation of the rule, but
confirming pit window open for AM class. So that is confirmed, Josh, now. So the AM car, so Sergio Perez in 7th can pit now and hand over to Marcel Zalua, his teammate. Tony Bates can pit now out of 9th place and 2nd in class. Theo Canduras, 3rd in class. The Superbarn AMG can pit and serve their pit stop. The pros have to wait a little bit longer.
Oh,
lap time.
Stokel.
26.9 for Paul Stokel.
Slow down, mate. Too fast.
Wow.
How good is that?
Now, never held the lap record here in a Formula Holden, Paul Stokel. Simon Wills beat him to the lap record here. But
how does he know this?
Paul Stokel has gone quicker. So he's got a lap record for the moment. Well, he did, because Brenton Groves got quicker again.
By 300ths. Awesome. There you go. He obviously knew that he had to pull his finger out for that lap.
Intriguing thing here is that some of these times, I mean, obviously as we venture along here in the stints, the laps seem to be getting quicker. Let's go to Ken.
Yeah, we're setting up for some pit stops down in a very tight pit lane, particularly for these GT cars. It's going to be interesting to see how they get through their stops. But I actually wanted to ask Josh a question, because talking to some of the drivers, they've been saying that with the resurfacing, there's been a bit of skipping when they go through particularly Turn 2, Siberia, up over the top of Lukey Heights. Did you find that in the TCR as well? At first they thought it was a grab and release with the tyre, but they think there might be a slight undulation in the track surface. Josh, did you notice that in TCR as well?
Yeah, absolutely, both in TCR and in GT4. Yeah, Exeter Turn 2, you skip and hop a little bit, but to be fair, it doesn't really upset the cars I'm in. It may upset a GT car, a GT3 car a little bit, but yeah, it's not a huge issue for us right now.
I want to say thanks to Cam for dialing in on the open line there too. You hold on there, young man. We'll send you a little something, care of the Shannon Speed Series. Great question.
I wonder here with the Ferraris, you've obviously got Liam, who's a little bit quicker than Elliot at the moment. I wonder if they're going to swap those cars around, because Liam's getting very close and he won't want to lose any time. The team won't want to lose any time for a result now that you've got Stokel up the road. So I wonder if there's going to be a little bit there at play to move those cars around F1 style.
Little team switcheroo perhaps coming for Arise Racing GT. AM drivers in the lane. So the Ram Motorsport team with GWR going to work. Mike Sheargold and Garth Walden.
That mist you were talking about before is a bit more present around us now, around the sort of off to the edge of the main straight here where you would come in through the turnstiles at Phillip Island. So that's a little bit of a thing to keep an eye on as we approach half race distance. Stokel leading by 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, the worst spot to get rain here is the last corner in one of these cars. In quali trim, it is flat out, over 200 k's an hour, minimum speed. Well, there is no minimum because you're constantly building speed, but the last corner, very unnerving. There's a curb that you'll use on the exit, and if that's wet, that's an issue.
So the pit window now open for the Pro-Am class. They can all peel off into pit lane, but they will run as long as they possibly can, Josh, because if it looks like it's going to rain hard, maybe you take a gamble and throw a wet tyre on.
This is the worst scenario to be in. Even as a professional driver, you do this for a living. You're sitting there just going, oh, please do one or the other. I don't want this mist and rubbish, because well and truly you can go out, do your stop, but then have to come back in 2 laps later for more tyres.
Reckon there's been a message from the Brendan Leach Tim Miles pit to Tim, who's currently in 9th. He was chasing the Mercedes of Tony Bates, and they were split literally by tenths of seconds, and Tim's trying to bank some quick sectors here, given that Bates is in the pit lane. So he's trying to make hay. Tim Miles in 8th place in that battle.
Yeah, looking for a bit of an overcut situation there where they'll stop afterwards and come out in front. So Milesy's got good pace. They can pit now. Brendan Leach will take over. They've got still 5 minutes to get those compulsory stops done. So they'll run as deep into the race before the window closes. Wiper on now for Paul Stokel, who'll use all of his experience that he's got to try and bring this Audi to pit lane. We'll continue around again. The two Ferraris continue as well.
How sketchy is it when the weather is like this? When you get those little sprinkles on the screen, it's not enough to go for a wet weather tyre though at the moment, is it?
It's the worst, it really is. At the moment, you'd still have really good core temperature in the slick, but as soon as you start seeing wheel tracks, oh no, and Samadi, is that Ash Samadi back out there?
Rejoined.
Hopefully not causing too big an issue there. He's still going slowly, is Ash, unfortunately, but yeah, they're starting to catch traffic, the lead runners, and it gets pretty awkward trying to navigate that, particularly when you're so close, particularly when you're in a brand new Ferrari with your teammate in front of you as well.
Brad Schumacher's just dropped off the back of this leading group as well in his Audi, so he's now 7 seconds further back.
Special mention to the lap record battle that we have going on. Oh, no.
Little error for Elliott Shute, and that will open the door for his teammate. No sign of team orders just yet because he didn't make that easy for Liam Talbot, but he was slicing down the inside of the AMG GT3 of Ben Shutes and just got it a little bit wrong in braking for turn 4. Holds on at the moment, allows Stokel to pull away a little bit further in front. This is compelling stuff. There's so much of this to play out yet with weather and pro drivers about to jump in this leading group of cars. Tim Miles has pitted, so he'll pull in from 9th position, and Paul Lucchini has stopped as well. He'll hand over to Jaden Ojeda. So those two Pro-Am cars are the first two to take their compulsory pit stop. And Batesy.
This would be a real good time to do a pit stop if you're in the lane.
Yeah, pit this lap.
Both the Ferraris are in, Stokel's going. So we've got an offset strategy here from those teams. You can see the lane.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No way. Can't get that out. That'll be safety car.
This is going to work really well for one Paul Stokel. He can absolutely spear the thing into the lane this lap.
He is deep in that gravel trap at 1, isn't he? So he's cleared that road you were talking about before that.
You can see even from our commentary box where he's got. So I wonder if the weather, if the damp surface has got to him and caused the car to have a bit of a wobbly through 1. Mostert into the car, Jackson Evans into the car. Got some heavy hitters going. If you've got bad conditions, these are the guys you want.
Oh, just to close off that point, I reckon Tony might have either been on the out lap or only 1 lap into the next stint. He pitted, so work things up to the optimal temperature when that happened.
Yeah, perhaps if he went for tyres, then yeah, he could have gone out with cold tyres. Safety car has been deployed as well, kind of as we sort of expected up here, I guess.
And everyone bailed into the lane. So Shute, Talbot, Schumacher in, Hackett in for 888, and Mark Rosser in to hand over to Alex Peroni. Declan Fraser will take over Peter Hackett's car.
Brownie, Will Brown at the wheel now. Brad Schumacher out. There's our Hyundai Shannon's safety car on circuit here.
Now, I don't know if I've said it before, fellas, but gee, that's a car. 530 and a safety car. Hey?
Okay.
And little switcheroo for the Arise Racing Ferraris in pit stop battle. This is Tony Bates. Oh, wow.
Gee, it really fell off the lip there, didn't it? I don't quite...
A couple of wheels off on entry.
I wonder what's happened there, because that was out of control on the way in. The only thing I can kind of think maybe is, because it is a bit damp down there, has he got left side wheels on the curb, got into the brake, it's spat one way, it's spat the other. As you can see on screen now, it's sideways on the way in, and then it's spat again. So...
Yeah, quite a lot of air there too. There's quite a big lip off the side of that exit curb.
It's hard to tell from that camera position because it's quite a distance away, but it actually looks like it gets out of shape beforehand, doesn't it?
Yep.
And then he's tried to catch it.
Luckily, it's not going to be too bad a recovery. All you have to do is just drag that out of the sand trap and you're good to go. There's Paul Stokel there, handing over to Rene Gracie. Great job from Paul. Very, very sound effort from him.
What a great stint. Got that car in the right position. And they might get some gain out of this. So it's a timed pit stop, but everyone else going slowly, working their way back to the lane.
You know who else is
track position early?
Branson Grove.
Yeah. Yes, well, he stopped too. Now, he has to spend a little bit longer in the lane as a result of them changing their driver status. The two Arise Ferraris are down at MG, and actually the safety car hasn't picked up the leading car because the leader was in the pit lane, so it will be a little shuffle to come on. They'll wave some cars by and then pick up the Ferraris, who should be out in front. Actually, Stokel is coming out of pit lane now. Who's going to get to the control line first?
Oh.
I think it's going to be really close between the two of them. So we're under the control of the Hyundai safety car. This is race 1 of the Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Chaz Mostert is behind the wheel of a Ferrari. Jackson Evans a Ferrari. Will Brown in an Audi. It's all going to build to a big finish coming your way.
Chaz Mostert at the head of the queue. We're under safety car here, round 3 of the Shannon's Speed Series. Live at Phillip Island. Hope you're enjoying it here on 7+. Let's get an update from the lane. Back to Cam.
Thanks, Rusty. I've got Paul Stokel, arguably driver the first stint. Well done, Paul. Great to see you back out here. But looks like you made a little bit of hard work of it out there, mate.
It was hard. The grip level on this track since they've resurfaced is just phenomenal. And we've 20 k's now faster on some of these fast corners. My neck was just giving away. So that, and then you added a bit of rain towards the end there, and it was getting pretty hairy. But focused on just trying to do as good a job as we could. So you get in front and keep the lead.
So you're sitting in the top 2 at the moment. Chaz just got you in that pit stop through the pit stop cycle. Renee talked to us earlier saying that you've been driver coaching her on the way through. How's she coming along?
Yeah, she's good. She's pretty hard on herself. Like she hasn't done a lot of driving. Came into it last year, did an awesome job at Adelaide, which is probably the main reason I sort of, signed her this year, because I went, God, she's got some ability, and she just needs more time, and every time this weekend she's going to go out, it's rained, and she's got the same thing again. So she's a bit peeved off that the conditions just haven't gone her way. But look, she's doing a great job, and she'll just keep learning and learning throughout the year. And we'd love to try and bring one home for the week, for the year, and see what we can do.
Well, good luck for the race. Let's go and check in with Stubbsy.
Cam, thank you. With Brad Schumacher, Will Brown has just jumped in the car, one of our supercar stars, leading the championship, if you don't mind there. He's doing a pretty good job here, but I want to know about your stint. How'd you find it out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's super gripped up here, obviously, with the track resurface, so for sure it's very tolling on the body. But obviously the rain started to come over towards the end there, and there were certain sections on the circuit that were for sure wet, and it was difficult to gauge the grip level that was available on the slick tyre. And so I thought the safest thing to do would be just to back it off a little bit, and then let Will go out there and fight hard. So you're not going to win any race by putting it in the wall in the wet. So we're in a good position, so we'll fight on.
A few better men than Will to be in the car. How's he come into grips with it so far? Still early in the weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean, he only jumped in the car at practice here. He's never driven the Audi R8, so it was a steep learning curve for Will for sure, but he's like a duck to water this morning in qualifying. So, he's technically the best driver in Australia right now, so I'm just super privileged to be driving a race car with him for this season.
And just finally, you've had a motorsport experience of a different kind in Vietnam, I think, in recent times. Is that right?
Yeah, I was just in Vietnam for a couple of weeks with 15 mates doing a single trail dirt bike tour through the jungle, actually. And it actually was really good for fitness and hand-eye coordination leading into the first round this season. But Audi was a little concerned about whether I'd come back in one piece or not. Fortunately, no spills over there, back in one piece and fit and ready to fight.
Tough life, hey? Driving GT cars, cruising around in Vietnam and owning a pub in Bathurst, hey? Tough life.
Great work there, Chris. There's worse ways to spend your time. What a great adventure for Brad Schumacher, who has really come on in leaps and bounds in GT competition in recent years, and to be paired with Will Brown, as he detailed there, they're a combination, most definitely, as this championship continues. It's only round one, and we had a little scare during the commercial break because the biggest mover through the field, Brenton Grove, from the back of the grid, and then this happened, and somehow skirts the edge of the gravel trap and gets away with it.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one. I don't know if they went tyres or not. Did anyone see that? But
Don't think so.
I guess, yeah, look, it might have been a little bit damp on the entry to Lukey Heights there. Either that or he's just gone off in sympathy. I'm not too sure. But, hey, look, at least it was under the safety car period. He can regather it and press on it. Didn't do anything.
My understanding that was on his outlap, having completed his compulsory pit stop. So even if they didn't put tyres on, if there's 90 seconds sitting stationary, not going anywhere, greasy track conditions, that might explain it, and
you
hustling to get to the back of the queue as well.
Yeah, exactly. On the safety car, if you have to catch the safety car at turn 5 and you're coming around where he was, you're not meant to, but we all do. You have every right to go as quick as you can and catch the pack. Still.
Speed, 80 kph.
Eavesdropping from Motorsport Australia Race Control in the communiques to the safety car. So we're of the belief that the lights will go out this time around and we'll get racing back underway. So great work. Brenton Grove still 8th in the queue. Had a little light brush with the wall in qualifying today, and then that's happened. So Stephen, Dad, if you're at home watching the coverage and recovering with the flu, they're just it's okay.
He's doing all right.
He's doing all right.
He's doing all right. Special mention, I was going to say before, but special mention to the lap record battle. It's been taken by Liam Talbot by the sum of half a tenth. So for now, he has the lap record in GT around
15 minutes to go. You reckon reckon that's gone again? What are we? It's a 26.8. We saw 25s, albeit in qual, didn't we? So
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, unless they've got some Ferrari lift and coast measures where they don't want to go too quick too soon, I would dare say that young Chaz is going to destroy it.
Okay.
So, Chaz Mostert will lead the field back to green for Ferrari, looking for their first win in GT World Challenge / Australian GT competition since 2015. It's been a long time since a Ferrari has won an outright race in GT World Challenge Australia. They won the Bathurst 12-hour in 2017, Maranello Motorsport, that famous victory, Tony Verlander, Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup. But it's been a dry spell for the Ferrari since then in Australian GT competition. So they're in a really good position right now, 1 and 3. Lights are out on the Hyundai safety car. Rene Gracie is in the middle of those two Ferraris. Then there's a fired up Will Brown. I'm not sure if Will Brown sounds like Brad Schumacher or Brad Schumacher sounds like Will Brown, but they're a match made in heaven, those two.
Channeling each other.
I love it. Quiet performance, but unheralded, I think, for Peter Hackett and Declan Fraser in 888, that famous racing team who have won the Johor Motor Racing entries for the last couple of years. They're focusing on Asian and international competition this year. Declan Fraser and Peter Hackett, 5th outright at the moment in their Mercedes AMG. And then Jaden Ojeda, 6th in queue in front of Alex Peroni, Brenton Grove and Brendan Leach. Marcel Zalua leads the AM class 10th outright in front of Garth Walden and James Konduras. Man, there's some experience at the pointy end of the AM class battle. So there'll be 13.5 minutes on the clock when they get to the control line. Chaz Mostert, who's a pretty good guy at car racing, will lead the field back to green with Rene Gracie and Jackson Evans right in behind. Here we go, Rusty, we're green. A shootout to the finish in the opening race in Fanatec GT World Challenge.
And a couple of fast cars that are buried a bit further down the order here too. Watch for Brenton Grove, Brendan Leach, 8th and 9th respectively. Gracie back to 3rd. It's Ferraris 1 and 2 now. Mostert and Evans, around goes Rene Gracie.
I was going to say, Jackson wasting no time. The Aston behind as well.
Drama's up ahead here too, is there? You can see, I think that might be Mark Sini, is it? I'm trying to pick the car there.
Yep, and Ben Sheets in the number 16 AMG, the Black Wolf racing car. So the safety car's on standby. They'll let them try and clean that up.
Shouldn't need that. Just dump the clutch, spin it around, carry on.
Will Brown trying to get through there too, guys, just while we're watching that replay here. Let's look.
Talk us through this, Josh.
So Ferrari's all good. Rene goes into the corner, locks the rears, and around it goes. Sometimes with the ABS settings, you can have it firing higher to the rear within the same setting. And into turn 2 there, you are hard on the ABS. And I feel like that's maybe what's happened. Just slightly colder tyre after that break. It's grabbed the rears and around it goes. So unfortunately, they're running in a good spot.
And for those up in front, sometimes when you have a little moment like that, it's a safety car restart, and so that upsets the rhythm for, you know, perhaps the likes of a Mark Sini and those coming through, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's far from ideal, you know, having to G yourself up and wait for so long under safety car. We spent quite a while under it. But no issue for these two gents up here. Although,
rain on our commentary box window.
The big mover as well, Rusty, through all of that is Brendan Leach, who restarted in 9th position, is now 4th and is absolutely flying. He pulled time out of Will Brown in the final sector. The silver and black Audi, it's just gone out of shot. So Brown got delayed. He was caught up behind the number 45 AMG, which is Garth Walden, who's 2nd in the AM class and a lap down. So it was just delayed a little bit getting past. That's opened the door for Brendan Leach, who's going to get down the inside now. So that's not for position. That's to put the 45 a further lap back. So Brendan's going out after Will Brown. And Brown 3.9 seconds between those behind those two Ferraris.
The best seat in the house right now is Jackson Evans, because he gets to see an extremely qualified driver in Chaz Mostert figuring this out.
Yeah.
He's in the exact same car. You have that extra second or so to decide whether that was too much or too little from the car in front. You can see they're moving about. Chaz is pushing hard.
Leach, look at Leach around the outside at the top of Lukey Heights. He's going to get down the inside of Will Brown. That's for 3rd place. Now, he's match fit here from a GT racing perspective. He's been doing great things with Lamborghini on the international stage, has come here to be a part of this. What an impression Brendan Leach is making. Dale ITM Audi is up into position 3 and gunning. He clears Brown And now chasing with 10.5 minutes to go, Evans in second.
1:31.6 for Jackson Evans. 1:28.6 Brendan Leach.
Wow.
Last time by, he's 3.5 seconds a lap quicker than the two Ferraris.
And the rain is coming down the main straight as well. It's doing it a little bit everywhere.
But it looks weird, Josh, like in other parts of the track.
Turn
It's not as, yeah.
Oh, turn 2 soaks. That's horrible in one of these.
This is made for a New Zealander. 28 years of age from Invercargill. Brendan Leach, he's come back from international GT racing. A lot of time with the factory Lamborghini squad.
So easy to do. Turn 2 wet. You're up behind the rear wing of another car. You can't quite see. Off you go.
1.8 seconds to the leaders now. The Audi is flying. The Ferraris have no answer at the moment.
Look how much
Leach
he's
is
taken out
there.
of him.
He's right there, Josh, onto Jackson Evans. Around the back of the hay shed they go.
What a unit. How good.
This is a huge moment for this young guy who's moved his life to Australia to race with Tim Miles this year. And Tim on his own has stepped out of Porsche Carrera Cup to go GT racing for a change.
He's 2 seconds faster than Jackson in the first sector. He's a second faster
round the outside, round the outside. Is that at all possible? Through the final couple of corners, right on Jackson Evans' hammer. He is pushing in this Audi. Deb Day and the team from Dale ITM here supporting him this weekend. She's got a bit of a role, I think, with Motorsport New Zealand too as well. Loves her motorsport. And down the main straight they come. Kiwis second and third at the moment. It's a fight between the Ferrari and the Audi. And it gives Chaz a little bit of breathing space. Sorry,
Jackson
Josh.
already defending. He feels under pressure from the Audi here. You can see moving offline, looking for the grip. In these conditions with slicks, slightly offline is going to be more ideal. You'll see Brendan right there looking for grip around the outside, more so than Jackson the Ferrari, and he's getting a run. Oh, he slightly pushed him off. The Ferrari's struggling for traction.
Tony Bates was spun to the inside there, by the way, on driver's left, down bunkered at turn 2.
Were there yellows? Were there yellows there?
Good question. We'll come back to that.
It was pretty quick. I think he's fine. He's got this covered. I mean, he's taking like a duck to water, literally, in these conditions.
Nice.
So around the outside of turn 2. So Jackson a little bit tight. Outside. Safety car. Oh, that's huge.
And that's why.
Oh, it's hit the tyre barrier. That's massive. Look
Ben
at that.
Shoots. That's Ben Shoots.
That's big.
Brand new team, Black Wolf Motorsport, have come into Fanatec GT World Challenge.
Look at the tyre wall.
He's had an enormous impact. So on the right-hand side of that shot, the tyres have been dislodged. 8 minutes to go in the race. I got to say, I reckon that might be it.
That'll be it. Yeah.
And that might save Chaz Mostert, and it might deny Brendan Leach, who was about to be crowned the mayor of Invercargill for that drive.
Look at the tyres nearly making it over the fence into the punters' roadies.
All right,
Okay, hold your breath here. Let's have a look. Watch this. So, sketchy conditions.
Oh, no. So unfortunate. Yeah, that's enormous. That's a really, really big hit in one of those cars. Unfortunately, the Mercedes-Benz, any hit in the front can adjust the rails in the car, and that could be really bad damage. That could be them out even for the weekend, even at this point. So that's incredibly unfortunate. Luckily, it wasn't driver's side, so hopefully he's all good. You can see movement in the car, but yeah, big hit.
Hopefully he's okay. The movements of the tyres, I guess, in some respects, is that they are absorbing. That is part of the reason why they're there, aren't they, to absorb that impact. Hopefully he's okay. Yellow flags on display, 6 minutes 40 remaining, and as Richard said, that quite possibly might be the way it ends, perhaps behind safety car. Mostert, Leach and Evans. What a story, with Leach charging through from down in, I think it was about 9th place at the restart, up into an incredible 2nd place.
That was amazing. Really, really, really top shelf driving there. I mean, you're catching Chaz Mostert, who was on the brink of being a factory BMW driver himself many a year ago. You're passing Jackson Evans, who was Porsche Junior, raced overseas in these cars. Yeah, that's although he's going to get the 2nd place trophy, that very short stint there was nearly man of the match. And special mention, Liam Talbot keeps his lap record. There you go, son. I called it wrong. I'm sorry. I should have given you the flowers, but...
Could you go with your stats?
Assisted by the rain a little bit.
No. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Liam Talbot, lap record
You
holder.
will fit right into this job, my friend. It's the sage voice of Josh Buchan, TCR Australia champion. You'll see them in our coverage a little bit later on this afternoon here on the screens of 7. So, medical team and assistance to make sure Ben's okay. He's a hugely experienced guy in GT cars, multiple Bathurst 12-hour starts. He ran the Sin sports car, the Daytona sports car, a lot of starts in GT World Challenge Australia competition and production sports cars racing. He and Shane Woodman have put this team together this year. It's a really well set up operation, beautiful pit garage, really well presented.
Yes,
that's great. That's good news. That's good news.
I wonder if what you'll find, are they going to cross the line and then red flag the race so that they've got a lap and they don't have to go back? Just thinking out loud?
I think they'll need to go back anyway because they're under the control of the safety car. I like the way you're thinking because you've lived this recently in TCR competition.
I don't want to talk about it.
But I think we're okay. So we're behind the control of the Hyundai safety car. And the great news is that Ben Schutz is out of the Mercedes AMG. And Team Medical will take him to the medical centre here at Phillip Island, which is well equipped and set up to service MotoGP. So they will be go and check him over, make sure he's okay. These cars are phenomenally safe. FIA GT3 homologated vehicles.
Yeah, no question. So no question for safety for the drivers in these things. Even your gear, you know, you've got your hands device, you've got your 8860 approved helmet, you're in good hands.
Busy times in this one. Chris Stubbs for Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia. He's down in the lane with Liam Talbot.
Thank you. Well, Liam, it looks like you're going to take the race win there. There's a little bit of a clean-up operation underway. Most importantly, we have seen a thumbs up there, and I know that you will be concerned about the health of everyone involved. But for you, the Ferrari, it's debuted. It looks like you're going to take the win. That's doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, speedy recovery. It's going to be a sore body in there, but yeah, I hope he's okay and speedy recovery. But for our side, the Ferrari's amazing. Would have been nice to race to the checkered flag and win it under that, but yeah, we did the job on track, myself and Chaz and Arise Racing, and yeah, didn't know what to expect, but yeah, with quali in the race, there's some pace in the car. Obviously very hard to overtake here with the aero wash. You get fully committed in the corner and then you just understeer off the track. So desperately trying to keep close to someone is very high risk. But yeah.
No better man to be partnered with, given the conditions out there over the last 20 minutes or so, changing almost every corner.
Yeah, for me, it started changing. It's obviously more for Chaz, but with Chaz, Adam DeBore, and Arise Racing, the team's amazing. So, you know, it's a big team effort, and we did it together.
Onwards and upwards. It's a great start to the campaign. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's actually 3 years in a row I've won the season opener, so I love the first race of the year.
And you usually go on and do a pretty good job with it as well, our defending champ. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you. Hi, Kenzie. Hi, Theodora. Thank you.
And hi to Charlie as well. Liam Talbot chatting to Chaz Mostert. So the race has been red flagged and the field will be brought behind the control of the safety car to pit lane. But with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, it's unlikely to resume. Now, the other thing that's going on through all of this, Josh Buchan, Rusty's departed because we've got some hosting to happen downstairs very soon. The other thing that's happening, Josh, is that cars 7 and 8, Brendan Leach and Jackson Evans are under investigation, and actually a pit lane penalty has just been assessed to car number 7, Brendan Leach, for passing under yellow. And that was the yellow flag on the exit of the Southern Loop where Tony Bates' car was spun off to the side of the road on the left-hand side of the racetrack. We questioned it when he went through, and it turns out race control. So Craig Baird, the driver standards chief, James Taylor, the race director, they've been looking at that in race control, and they have assessed a pit lane penalty. Now, because the race is basically over, that will be a time penalty. So it will be added to the race time.
That's tough.
Which will drop them. It's going to be interesting to work that out because there are a bunch of cars that were out of sequence with the safety car, but at the very best, it's going to drop them to 4th position, but I suspect it could be a little bit further back. for what was an outstanding job by Brendan Leach. Regardless of that penalty, that was,
to be fair,
a huge drive.
Yeah, mate, if he came from 9th and he's in 2nd about to take the lead, starting from 4th, maybe Beardo's just doing the rest of the field a favour. So, yeah, look, unfortunately, that rule's pretty clear-cut. It's there for a reason, particularly in conditions like that. I can imagine Brendan's going to say, I didn't see it, I was under the, back of the Ferrari and whatnot, but unfortunately, that is the rule. We follow it, and that is the result.
A wild start to the season for Fanatec GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. What an incredible season this promises to be. Provisional results, we'll emphasise that. There may be some changes to this, but as they cross the line, Mostert and Talbot win Ferrari's first domestic GT race since 2017. Leach and Miles second across the line, but with a penalty to come. Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute on the podium regardless. Great job, Will Brown and Brad Schumacher next, Declan Fraser and Peter Hackett. AM class, Marcel Zalua and Sergio Perez. The best mates from Sydney have done the job. What an outstanding performance from those two to take the AM class. Renee Gracie recovered to 9th outright in the end after that off at the Southern Loop. Garth Walden and Mike Sheargold second in AM class. A really good performance, and Arise Racing will celebrate what I suspect will be a 1-2 result. What a finish! Shannon Speed Series. More action coming your way next.
Pedal, isn't it? Good deal with it.
Light's about to go out here. The charge is on.
We've got contact. It is absolutely blocked on track.
The opening round set the tone.
James Moffat, the reigning champ, dominates at Sandown. Ben Marquardt wins, dominating the weekend here.
Then tensions boiled over in Tassie.
Tough with teeth.
That's brutal. He parked the car up. This is a protest.
Sideways!
And they're gone!
Now we head to the island, an iconic venue steeped in history, set against an incredible backdrop. To win here means that little bit more.
Seat and blast them off the liner.
It rewards shrewd plays and smarts as much as old school bravery.
They'll need a photo to finish it. Johnson across the line.
Little wonder the lineup is epic. Trans Am and TCR, joined by jaw-dropping GT machines and their rapidly expanding relatives. The Porsche talent pool is brimming, and some radical open-wheelers that are perfect for this place. Welcome to Race Phillip Island, brought to you by Ford Mustang, 60 years. This is the third stop on our Shannon Speed Series tour, and all garaged among a sweet selection of motorsport in 2024 that's live and free on the screens of 7.
Phillip Island is throwing everything at us today. We're headed for highs of 20 degrees, 50% chance of rain, and we have had a bit of that so far. The Grand Prix circuit, well, we are welcoming an unbelievable array of